Alright guys, welcome back to What If Cooler Was Canon. Where we last left off, Cooler adopted Kakarot and was training the Saiyans behind Frieza's back. Now, let's continue. Years would have passed all the way to the beginning of Z. Kakarot was trained under Cooler himself, and Cooler acted more like a space pirate, stealing and taking what he needed to survive, planning to take his empire back, however, and he knew the time was finally right. He even taught the Saiyans how to hide their power levels, so Frieza was none the wiser. Kakarot and Vegeta were equals, rivals. Even though Vegeta was a prince and Kakarot started off with a way lower power level, Cooler's training with both of them accelerated their power and strength, making them far stronger than they thought possible. But Nappa and Raditz weren't far behind. Cooler knew it was finally time to get rid of Frieza, because he did it. He unlocked a new form. Cooler would walk up to Kakarot and say, "It's time." What makes you say that? Suddenly, Cooler would start to grow horns, and his body would transform. Kakarot was amazed. "What is this?" "This is my new form." Frieza makes forms to make himself weaker because he can't handle the power that drains on your stamina. All you had to do is train a bit and you can handle it. He's really not that smart when it comes to battling. But here's the thing. If you train hard enough, you can push yourself beyond your normal form and create something new. Something that took me years to achieve. With this form, I can finally kill my brother. Now it's time to activate the plan. Kakarot would nod as he would call Vegeta and say it's time. You see, the Saiyans knew that Frieza wanted power, and they knew Frieza was always listening to them. Whenever they talked, they took off their scouters, so Frieza couldn't track them. Vegeta and Nappa and Raditz would all talk about this planet with these people on it that can awaken your power. And awakening your power makes you much, much stronger, at least 2 times. As they all went off there, Frieza would take the bait. Hearing this, he would want to get stronger. However, he also knew that Zarbon and Doria were loyal, so he took them too, so they can all get stronger together. Frieza would fly to the planet, thinking nothing of it. After all, they were dumb monkeys. It's not like they were capable of planning anything. And he has heard from Cooler, so he was worried. However, his power being doubled, he can easily defeat Cooler. And if it turns out it was just a rumor, it's no big deal. He's already very strong. Frieza would land down with Zarbon and Doria, and as he looked around, the planet was completely desolate. There was nothing there. Frieza began to get angry. It seems like it was just a rumor. Stupid monkeys and their rumors. Well, oh well. Frieza was gonna go back, but then he heard footsteps. As he turned around, he would see Cooler behind him. Frieza would look at him and say, "Well, Cooler, what are you doing here? Are you the one that can unlock people's potentials? Or, I see now, it was a trap. You got those dumb little monkeys to lure me in, thinking you can defeat me. Father picked you for a reason. It's because you're pathetic." Cooler would say, "Shut up and go into your final form already." Frieza would sigh and say, "Fine, fine." As he transformed to his final form, Zarbon and Doria were amazed. But then, the Saiyans showed up. Cooler would say, "Deal with Zarbon and Doria." Frieza would laugh. "You think these monkeys can take on them? I see a new one, but I doubt any of them can do anything." Suddenly, Vegeta would kick Doria, sending him flying across the forest. As Doria got back up, he would then be kicked down. As Vegeta and Doria fought, Kakarot would fight Zarbon, and Cooler would fight Frieza. Nappa and Raditz would simply watch. As Kakarot fought Zarbon, Zarbon would say, "I didn't want to do this, but I have to." As the entire ground would shake, and suddenly he would transform. Then Kakarot laughed. "That's your transformation? You just get all fat and ugly. You think that can defeat me? God, you're an idiot. What kind of transformation is that?" Zarbon would say, "Shut up, you monkey. True, this transformation may not look beautiful, but it'll be enough to kill you." As he charged at Kakarot, Kakarot simply just pushed his fist straight through his stomach and pulled it out. As Zarbon fell to the floor and began to bleed out, Zarbon would beg for his life. "Please, please don't kill me. Please, I can join you. I can join the new regime. Together we can..." Kakarot simply looked down and said, "Sorry, you're nothing but a lapdog. We don't need that." with Cooler. And then he just blew Zarbon up. As he looked over, Vegeta decided to do the same thing to Dodoria. It's been fun toying with you and torturing you, but I think it's over. Dodoria would look at him and begin to shake. How did you get this strong? Your power level, we could hide our power levels. It's a little trick Cooler taught us. We've been training for years, planning to kill Frieza right under his nose. The idiot never saw it coming. Dodoria would say, you might be able to kill me, but you'll never kill Frieza. Vegeta says, we'll see about that, as then he blew up Dodoria. Meanwhile, we cut to Cooler and Frieza. Cooler and Frieza were both battling. Frieza was a bit stronger than him in Cooler's final form, aka his base form. But Cooler had way better battle IQ and way better technique, so it was very even. But then Cooler would stop and say, I got something to show you, brother. Suddenly, Vegeta would throw up an artificial moon, as they would all become great apes and begin to charge at Frieza. As they all began to beat up on Frieza, it did minimal damage. Frieza was in his final form. You know, the Saiyans were very strong. It wasn't enough to kill him or wound him significantly. However, this was just a distraction, so Cooler can transform into his new transformation. As Frieza looked up, he said, you think a bunch of dumb monkeys can defeat me? Just because you're bigger doesn't mean you can defeat me, Frieza says, as he yelled out, punching Vegeta, sending him flying, and he began to charge a massive energy blast. But then, Cooler punched him straight into space. As Cooler flew up, Frieza looked at him and said, What are you? I am the new Cooler. I've unlocked a new form. Instead of making forms that make me weaker like an idiot, I make forms that increase my power. Frieza would then throw a giant death ball that he was charging up against the Saiyans right at Cooler. If you're so strong, then deal with this. But Cooler simply kicked it out into space and laughed. Is that all you got? That's child's play. He would then grab Frieza by his tail and begin to throw him around. Cooler would then begin to punch him at all of his pressure points. Cooler would start to toy with Frieza and torture him. Frieza felt more and more pain that he's never felt before. Frieza has been spoiled his whole life. He's had everything handled to him. He's never felt this type of pain before. He's never felt this type of fear before. Frieza would look at him and say, you're not the only one who can transform to get stronger, as suddenly he would go into his buff form 100%. As Frieza and Cooler battled, it was more even, but Cooler was still more powerful. However, Cooler would look at him and say, even if you were more powerful than me, this fight would still be over. Frieza would say, what are you talking about? You don't see? That dumb form, it uses a lot of stamina. You can't even hit me. Cooler would then laugh at Frieza. As he tried to punch him, he would just simply move out of the way again and again and again and again. As Frieza said, stop mocking me! I am the Emperor of the Universe! Cooler would look straight at Frieza and say, oh, there's a new Emperor. Someone who's not a spoiled brat. Someone who actually knows how to run an empire. Someone who actually gets strong enough to control everything. And that's me. As then, he would grab Frieza and rip off both of his arms. As Frieza would cry out in pain, he would say, please, please, brother, please, don't kill. But then Cooler would stop him, saying, you know how many people you've killed, how many people you slaughtered? They all begged for mercy. Now, I'm no good guy. In fact, I'd probably do the same thing, but it's funny. At least I would take my death like a man. As then he blew up Frieza. Frieza's chunks floated out in space. As Cooler would go back down to the planet, him and the Saiyans would go to the capital and declare himself Emperor. Vegeta and Kakarot were declared Cooler's right-hand men, and the armored squadron that Cooler commanded replaced the Ginyu Force. However, as Frieza floated out into space as chunks, King Cold would find him and pick him up. King Cold would rebuild Frieza into Mecha Frieza. King Cold would be angry. His empire was gone. As soon as Cooler announced that he killed Frieza, the empire fell to him. However, King Cold still had some forces loyal to him and Frieza, and part of these forces were the Ginyu Force. Cooler couldn't possibly know about Captain Ginyu's power to take bodies. King Cold had an idea how to defeat Cooler and take his empire back for Frieza. As Frieza got up, he would look around. As King Cold would say, my son, I'm glad you're alive. This failure was an embarrassment, but if Cooler stays Emperor, he'll kill me, so we need to get rid of him. Frieza would laugh and nod, as King Cold and Frieza would get a scheme that could defeat Cooler. Cooler may be stronger, but he doesn't know about Captain Ginyu's ability, his ability to take a body. This ability will be his downfall. And that's where I'm going to leave things off. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you think of the series so far down in the comments below. Peace out. Love you all.